After thoroughly cleaning the lateral pipe, now it's time to televise, make sure that it's clean, there's no obstructions in the way, and at this time you also will be measuring for the length of the liner to be installed. Push camera is inserted all the way down to the terminating end where you're going to insert the liner to. Tape marks put around the camera push rod to determine the length of the liner to be installed. Camera is removed from the lateral pipe and laid on the ground to measure for the length of the liner to be installed. It's important that the camera cable be stretched out straight because you will be measuring the length from your tape mark on the end to the end of the camera, and that's to determine the length of the liner. Filling out the ambient installation sheet. Physical address, date of installation, ambient temperature outside, the length of the liner that you've determined you're going to install in the lateral pipe, the length of the cal tube needed. This time you will determine how much resin is needed for the length of the liner that you're going to be installing. Multiply the length of the liner by the diameter in pounds per foot. It's a straight 2-to-1 ratio for your part A and part B. 2 parts A to 1 part B.
Lay out visqueen plastic for grind protection. Measure out your liner material. You'll have 4 inches of cuff for the end, 3-foot intro, or whatever your intro may be, up to your PTBL, pipe to be lined. Next, you'll have your calibration tube, 4 inches for your cuff, 3 inches for the additional cuff. That'll be built on the inversion head. Then you'll go down to the end of the calibration tube, measure back 2 feet for the knot. And on 4-inch calibration tube, you will have tie your knot, lay the material flat, and tri-fold it. When you're done, you should have about 4 inches of tail on that knot. Lay out your pull tape and cut the length. Set the side plates on the inverter prior to installing pull tape. Install the pull tape through the hole in the spindle and wrap. You want to overlap each wrap halfway. Install pull tape down through delivery hose. Tie the end of the pull tape in a knot. Pre-tape clamp area prior to installing liner material. Tape it with duct tape for the liner, Brillo tape for the cal tube. Put the liner through the head, cuff it back 4 inches. Tape over that cuff with duct tape prior to installing stainless steel bands. Wrap duct tape tight. Leave a buddy tag on it for removal. Install stainless steel band with 5/16 head on a cordless drill. Install 2 clamps on the liner material. Duct tape over top of them clamps. No sharp objects protruding from that head. After installing liner to the head, install the vacuum head. You're going to put this thing up on vacuum immediately. Tape the other end of that liner material closed. You want to suck all the air out of that liner material when you're building the cowl tube, or while it's building the cowl tube. Install cowl tube through the inversion head. You're going to have a 7-inch cuff on this calibration tube. Put Gorilla tape on the calibration tube. Install bandit clamp in bandit tool. Install the clamp over top of the taped area. There's 2 areas that this clamp can go on. You're going to install it on the 4-inch cuff first and the 3-inch cuff second. Can only go in that one groove. You're going to set the bandit clamp and remove. Tape over top of that bandit clamp. No sharp objects. Fold the cowl tube over top of the, so you're cuffing it back. It's a double containment. Tape over top of that with Gorilla tape. And bandit clamp that when you're complete. Feel the groove. Make sure you can get the banded clamp in the groove. Clamp it down. Set the punch. Snap it off. Tape it over. Cover all sharp areas. Refer back to the install sheet for resin amounts. 5.6 is the B, 11.2 is the A. Mark them on top of the bucket liners, so when you're measuring with a digital scale, you won't have to refer back to the paper. Bucket liners are included with your trailer. You need to pre-mix the B. On a digital scale, dump it into the bucket. 5.6. Bingo. A resin, 11.2. Once the two are mixed together, mix it with a mixing paddle. Introduce the resin into the liner material. Roll the bucket so there's no spillage. Get the resin all the way to the end of the liner and seal it off with duct tape, leaving a crease at the top of the liner material. Wet out the liner on the roller table. Adjust calibration settings on the roller table. Set the speed, keeping the liner in the center of the rollers. Vacuum pump is still on at this time. You want to wet out the liner 2 inches past the PTBL mark. The line coming up here, 2 inches past that mark. Feed it back through the rollout table. Recalibrate the rollout table for the height setting. Put it in reverse. Turn the volume speed all the way up. Install intro tube. Remove the excess resin out of the liner material. Squeeze it all out. Fasten the liner to the pull tape. Install one rubber band 1 foot down, the other one 6 inches down. Oil liner entirely with vegetable oil. Load it into the inverter. Tighten lid. Align with hose pipe. Pressurize the inverter. Invert liner entirely. Cut and remove inversion head. Then cut 4-inch slice in liner material. Remove inversion head. Fasten the pull tape to the cowl tube. Wrap with Gorilla Tape. Oil calibration tube and load it into the inverter. Insert head into liner. Pressurize the inverter. Invert the calibration tube entirely. Presses the liner up against the hose pipe. Increase pressure to the proper PSI. Clamp off calibration tube. Release air pressure from the inverter. Remove the delivery hose from the inversion head. Fasten the inversion cap. Stuffing the pull tape down in and connecting it to the bottom of the inversion cap. Increase the pressure to the proper PSI and remove the clamp. Maintain pressure 3 to 4 hours till intro is hard. Reduce air pressure down to 0. Remove all air out of inversion head. Release the cap. Pull out the pull tape. Pull back into the inverter. Once the pull tape's all the way into the inverter, hook up the pull tape to the spindle. Tighten down cap. Tighten all the wing nuts. Secure head to delivery hose. Increase pressure in calibration tube 2 to 3 psi. Pull back on pull tape, which is going to pull the cal tube out of the liner material. Set up camera unit. Televise camera inspection. Record if necessary. One beautiful liner. When done recording, cut liner even with hose pipe.